Well, this week is kind of two in one. Well, it's one, but one covering off two of them. Simple, isn't it? Hello and welcome to AAR&A. Today is an epic review. In fact, it's one epic review of a one, but covering off two types of them in one. And I think that's more than enough for the confusion and silliness. Time to get down to reviewing the very first epic One Wood that has arrived in the country. For those of you who are not already aware about Epic, it is an amazing company from where seems to be the centre of excellence currently, the Czech Republic. As many of you will probably already know, these are top draw, which is probably a bit of an understatement. But if you're looking for a budget of £100 break barrel review, then this week's review isn't going to be quite what you're looking for. But as always, we do try to cover off something for everyone. But that can't all be done in the same week. If, however, you want to know what is in that top drawer, then this week is definitely for you. And not only will it be looking at the new Woodstock version of the Epic One, but this will be the FAC version for the higher power guys out there too. And yes, it is available in sub 12 foot-pounds if you don't have a license or simply don't need this level of power. I have reviewed the Epic 2 in both sub 12 foot-pounds option and FAC power, and they are quite simply amazing. Now it's time to do the same with the Epic 1. And if this isn't the most futuristic looking bullpup out there, this time they have added a walnut stock to the back of this Epic One, which changes the whole appearance and softens the whole thing from the more tactical style of the all-metal version. Yes, you still have the modular design that will allow you to personalise this to suit your individual needs and desires. The last program I did on the Epic One, which is here, was pretty much fully loaded with extras, but I have tried to keep this one more unmodified, if there is such a word. This will naturally keep the cost down considerably, and of course, the weight. This version I have here is the 420mm barrel version, which has an overall length of around 760mm. Now, the weight and length dimensions could be a little irrelevant because of the options list. But I can say they start at around 760mm or 30 inches long with the 420mm barrel fitted, and the starting weight is around 3.66 kilograms or 8 pounds 1 ounce in the standard aluminium air tube option version. The weight and length is then going to be affected by your chosen barrel length, and the options are 420mm, 550mm and 700mm length, and of course what air tank you're choosing, aluminium or a carbon fibre. There are lots more, but I'll talk about those as we work our way around this one. From the front, the barrel, well, straight away we find something that is very trick indeed. You see, the 420mm CZ unchoked barrel has a real carbon shroud around it, and the end is actually a silencer, but with a difference. You see, this has a 1/2-inch UNF thread on the end, and this allows you to add additional silencing, and if you do, wow. Now, it is very quiet as is, but forget the words moderator or suppressor. Silencer is the correct choice if you do add an additional silencer on the end. It is quite incredible and is probably the quietest air rifle I've ever used, even in this FAC power level. Below this is the standard tube, which is a 240cc volume plus 63cc that will go to a full 300 bar fill pressure. You're giving you enough shots to win almost any top trumps games down the range. Certainly in sub 12 version. In this FAC version, the shot count is going to be considerably less and completely subject to the power levels that you want it set at, because the power levels are pretty mind-blowing. Oh, and of course, the caliber. This is available in 177, 22, 25, and I believe .30. And you can go up to a 580cc capacity carbon bottle. Under this is the optional Arca Swiss rail cradle system, which is anodized alloy, the same as the top spine rail. This Arca Swiss system will then mate up with the Epic tripod, or even other makes which are now coming into the marketplace, as this system is quickly becoming the go-to bottom rail type. The filler port on the alloy tube version is at the end of the cylinder and is protected from dust by a twist cover, and has an oversized Epic branded white on black gauge on the end. On the carbon bottle version, the filler port is at the neck of the bottle and is again Epic labelled white on black, which is big, bright and clear. FAC power adjuster is on the left hand side near the regulator gauge, which is adjustable on this FAC version, where in the sub 12 version it is restricted and blocked off. Moving further back, we come to the main body, which houses the same superb side lever of the Epic 2, which is smooth, solid and exceptionally well engineered. And to make this truly ambidextrous, this can be changed to whichever side you prefer. Below this is the fully adjustable match grade trigger, which is an absolute pleasure to use. The safety is an anodized red in trigger system, which is forward for fire and back for safe, and is sure and defined in use. Moving to the rear, there is the magazine port below the cheek rest. This takes the supplied aluminium magazine, which is pretty unique in its design. This is the 177 caliber 14 round magazine. The 2.2 mag holds 12 rounds and the 2.5 holds 10. At first it is quite confusing how to load these magazines, but it is actually very simple. Just remove the magnetically held front plate and then turn the internal wheel anti-clockwise until it stops. Then drop in the ammo of your choice, just making sure it doesn't fall through the other side. Once you've done that, you can then just infill the rest of them and work your way around. Slippery little sucker. Once you've filled them all up, then simply return the magnetic front and it will hold itself in place. It's then just a case of pulling back on the cocking arm and then slotting in from the right hand side. And once it's in, it's then pretty flush with both sides. The last thing to look at is the rear butt, which is beautiful walnut and it's beautifully finished, which softens the whole appearance of the rifle. This truly is a gun that you can personalise until your heart's content. In its stripped down aluminium tube setup, you have a lighter pest control tool, or with accessories, you have a target gun of ultra high standards. Time to get this over the chronograph to check out the power levels on this full power FAC version. This is a 177 caliber, and when I got my first FAC 177, people questioned my sanity, asking why I hadn't gone for bigger calibers for more power. Then, when they realised just how flat a trajectory it had, they understood why. Well, this has been wound up to show just what you can get out of a 177 in FAC. Firstly, putting 8.44 grain standard pellets through this will send it supersonic and will wake the neighbours up for miles around. So it's going to have to be tested with 16 grain H&N slugs and 20 grain H&N slugs to slow the speed down a little. Using 16 grains, it saw 1,015 feet per second, which is 36.6 foot-pounds or 49.62 joules. With that information, it's time to get it loaded up with the 20 grains. And with these on board, it saw 905 feet per second, which is 36 foot-pounds or 48.81 joules. And yes, these figures are correct and from a 177 short barrel airgun. And yes, I did test it with some 8.44 grain pellets, and at 1,266 feet per second, it generated 30 foot-pounds and sounded like some 50 cal sniper rifle echoing around the neighbourhood. All this from a 177. I presume I've got your attention now. The sub 12 foot-pound and FAC versions are capable of using slugs because of that unchoked CZ barrel. Time to get this out on the range dressed up with a decent scope, which is the Gen 2 Taurus, and is simply awesome. I have fitted it to my AGT Vulcan 3 as well, and I love it. Out on the range then, at 70 metres. Well, this is a higher powered FAC version. Here we go. The Epic One in walnut. It's a different start to actually show you the shooting first. Done that for a reason, really, because I'm firing out, even though it looks like I'm in the same position, I've got it as far down the range as I can, and that's 70 metres, and I'm on a fairly rickety stand. I've got over there, I've got the Epic tripod. But as soon as I put it on the Epic tripod, people start turning around and going, "Ah, it's not fair, it's not right." To be honest, at the end of the day, I've said it 1,000 times, what I'm here to do is test the gun, not me. But just for the interest of fairness and balance, I've shot it on this rather rickety, I suppose you call it a 2-point stand. It's not the best thing on the planet, but there you go. Now that's at 70 metres. Now, I don't think that's bad at all. I've had one magazine to try and zero it in, and I zeroed it in at 40 metres, and then I've just shot out at 70 metres. There's a couple of flyers out there, which is down to me and this, but I'm sure you can see that the grouping itself is pretty impressive, certainly from what I can see from here. Now, I've put on top of this a Gen 2 Taurus scope, which is a beautiful scope. It's a zero-stop scope. So what I should have done is taken the time, adjust it, get the zero and everything just right on it. But I haven't. I've actually shot it at 5 points over. because this is firing out with the slugs that I'm using, which are just 16 grain H&N slugs straight out of a tin. They're not some fancy Zans or anything else, just the H&N straight out of the tins, and they're firing at approximately 1,000 feet per second. So not surprisingly, the hold over, hold under points or whatever from 40 meters to 70 meters isn't that great. It's just laser-like. Now this is just 177 firing out, as I've said, at 1,000 feet per second. Apart from that, it is a beautiful thing. I prefer it, much prefer it in the less tactical style with this hint of beautiful walnut going through it and less of the razorback and the bottom rail and everything else that's going on it. I get it with everything else that people really like it, but you know what, this suddenly becomes a lot lighter. It's still a fairly weighty item because of its construction. It's exceptionally well made. The trigger is beautiful. It's a 14 round magazine on this 177. The magazines are dead simple. These are the quietest thing I've known, and I haven't put a silencer on it. All it is a shrouded barrel with the built-in or built on the end silencer, and that in itself has been more than quiet enough for a day like today. I've obviously not scared anything off because all I can hear around me is birds whistling away, so they're not that bothered. Now I could make this a lot quieter by putting a silencer on the end as well. It is a beautiful thing. Yes, it's kicking out around 37 foot-pounds, so you'd expect it to be nice and flat on the trajectory. It is exceptionally flat on the trajectory, and it is a really nice thing to use. And to be honest, I ran it with just adjusting the scope slightly, as I've just done with that one a couple of points, and I was amazed at just how accurate it is over that distance. This particular one is set up beautifully. Now Karl has done it down at Vector Air. He is a bit of a whiz when it comes to setting these things up, and I just gave him the remit of, you know, let's get a 177 and see what we can get out of it. Now he was confident we could get even more, but it's got to be usable. So we settled on this, which is about 1,000 feet per second and 37 foot-pounds. And he's right. He's absolutely right, which I hate because he's always right. But yes, it's turned this into a beautiful gun. And that's not a long gun for kicking that amount of power out. Normally with something of that power level in FAC, you've got a huge, great barrel on the end, and you haven't. It's still very compact. Yeah, the scope is a 3-24 scope, and I'm actually firing it out at about 18, not even the full 24. Fabulous scope, fabulous gun, fabulous setup. It really is. Do I like it? Oh, yes, stupid question. Absolutely stupid question. I do like the Epic 2. The Epic 2 is a bench rest gun. No messing about. To my mind, it's a bench rest gun. I know somebody who shoots it out for pest control, but he's a big guy. He's a big guy. So there's a shout out to Oz if you're watching. He is a big guy. Nice guy, but huge. And he is quite capable of carrying that around. Me, with my stature, no, definitely not. This, yes. Yes. This would be an ideal thing. It's still, if you want something really light to go hunting, take a Vixen, without a doubt. But this would do the job, I'll say just as well. Probably just as well, if not a little bit better. It's just a bit heavier, but I love it. I really, really love it. And I think, and I don't know whether this is going to happen, but I'll certainly have a word with David at Epic, I think they'd be as well putting almost like a polymer version of this wood stock onto the gun as well. But who knows? That's obviously for Epic to sort out. Anyway, I could talk and talk and talk on this because I do really like it. The trigger is awesome, fully adjustable. This one, because it's FAC, has got the adjustable regulator on it as well. If you're looking for a 177 that is kicking out as much power as most 2.2 FACs out there would do, look no further. And just remember, you've got a laser-like trajectory. Awesome. Truly awesome. And I think I could get better grouping than that with practice. It's on my second magazine on it. I'd never get an awful lot of time. Fabulous. truly, truly fabulous. I could spend an awful lot of time with this gun. Anyway, that's it. Back to the studio. Not only is it what I was expecting it to be, but it was so comfortable to use, and that two-stage adjustable trigger is simply a dream straight out of the box. Now, all Epic Ones come supplied with the heavy-duty Epic hard cases included and one of the solid magazines. Whatever version you opt for, and again the quality is top drawer. The price is going to be the next question, and as I've already said, this is not an entry-level budget gun. Far from it. It is for the more frequent shooter who is on the search for perfection, really. But with a starting price of around £1,650 UK, I don't think it's silly money at all. Now, from there on, the pricing will depend on how much you want to dress it up. There is no difference in price from the sub 12 foot-pound version to the FAC version, simply a higher level of power set into the gun and, of course, the unrestricted power adjuster. This is a breath of fresh air from all the highly marketed and available from anywhere all over the place companies, and dare I say probably better engineered and finished, and yet competing very closely with them on price. I've said it before, this is engineering at its best and not a single piece of electronics which needs switching off and back on again like Control-Alt-Delete every time you want to shoot it. With this, simply fill it with air, point it at you want to hit, and it's a foregone conclusion. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the all-new Epic One in Wood and FAC. If you have, please give us the old thumbs up, and I may well be reviewing a much higher caliber version of this in the future, so you may want to hit the subscribe button and the notification alarm bell to be sure you don't miss that review. Joining the AAR On Air website will also ensure you're able to enter any of the up-and-coming competitions. A big thank you to Vector Air, who are sole importers for Epic. They have worked very closely with them to get the right options for the UK market. A big thank you, of course, to you guys for watching. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. I want another go with this. I really do.